Hello, everybody. Welcome back. I have another video for you today. Today, we're going to focus on discussing and talking about what you're reading with your students or what they're reading before, during, and after. So one of the most important things to help your students with their reading and their comprehension is teaching them how to think about their reading while they're reading. So something you can do before you even start reading is just focusing on the cover and the title of the story. So the title gives you, I tell the kids, it gives you a clue about what the main idea is of the story. So the title is going to tell you a clue about what the story is all about. And looking at and talking about what you see on the cover of the book or the magazine or whatever it is you're reading. It could even be a DVD cover, something like that, just to get them thinking before they even start reading. So for example, I pulled just a few books here. This is Sulwe, amazing book. But this has a very intriguing cover that you can see the girl's reaching for something. She's looking at something. There's sparkles and stars in the sky. So there's a lot of things you can talk about before you even start reading the story. And then the name, the title. Who is that? Is that her name? What does that mean? Things like that. Same for the story here, Rosie Revere, Engineer, another favorite. Very engaging cover. Rosie Revere, Engineer, what's an engineer? What is that? And so you can just start thinking even before you open the book. What has the author given us? What has the illustrator given us to help us understand this story? So looking at and discussing the title and the cover art is a really important start to get your students thinking before they even read the book. And those are important, purposeful things that the author and the illustrator have given us. So it's always good to honor that work that they've given us and done for us. Another thing that you can do before you get started is these are called the end pages. So sometimes it's just a design like this. Sometimes it actually is important to the comprehension of the story. So I like to think about these end pages as almost like the opening and the closing of a curtain at the theater. So here we see yellow in this design, but at the end, it's blue with a different design. So that was something intentional that the author and the illustrator created for us to help us understand and have an opening and a closing to the story. So if you know this story, it's about lightness and darkness. And so it starts out with this light and ends with a darker color, and it just goes perfectly along with the story. Same thing here for Rosie Revere Engineer. In this book, it's exactly the same. It's just a grid. But this is another jumping point to talk to your students about what an engineer does. Why would they use this sort of paper? What might they do with it? How do the characters use it? And it's the same in the front and the back. Another thing, I just pulled this other story, I'm Every Good Thing, another amazing story by Derek Barnes. It has a bunch of children as the end pages. And this is the same, but that's another discussion you can have when you're reading this story or any story with your student. Why did the author and the illustrator choose to put out these children's faces here? Why would that make sense in our story? And maybe what they think is going on with those end pages at the beginning changes by the end of the story. So that's another way for them to show their comprehension and their understanding. So chock full of things just in before you even start reading. During reading, stopping and talking whenever you want. Sitting down and reading with your student is more than just having them read all of the words. So again, we're trying to teach them to think about their reading as they're reading. So stopping and asking questions about the characters. Why do you think they did that? What choice did they make here? What do you think is going to happen because of that? Or even as simple as, with the little ones, like, what did Biscuit, what did he get? Did he get a ball? Did he take it to his basket? Did he go get his leash to take a walk? Why did he do that? Things like that, just stopping and talking. And that will help your students get in the act of thinking while they're reading. Another thing, all of these things can be done, like I said before in my previous video, when you're watching a show or you're listening to music. Stop and pause the song. Why did they choose that word? Or what would rhyme with this next phrase? What would go along with what they're saying? So you can use these kind of discussion techniques anytime in whatever you're doing. Same thing for after. Another great thing to do after you read the story is have them look back. Tell them, summarize the story with them, or have them retell the beginning, the middle, and the end. It can be as simple as what happened in the beginning, the middle, and the end. You could go a little farther with maybe older kids, having them summarize with first, what happened first, next, then, and last. Just to have them just think. I always tell my students, good readers think about the story before, during, and afterwards they think about what happened and they try to remember what happened. It's perfectly fine to go back and look in the book and check again. If we were doing that and we were trying to find something out as adults, we would go back and look again. So I always encourage that. Another thing you can talk about after reading is if there was a lesson that the author was trying to teach us. So for example, in this story, Sulaway is all about loving yourself and loving the way you look and who you are and your name and things like that. So this would be, you know, a great one with a clear author's purpose or lesson to it. Some are just a story to entertain us, and that's a conversation you can have. The author's not trying to teach us anything here. It's just an entertaining story for fun. Or it could be a nonfiction or something where the author specifically has a purpose for teaching. So that's another thing you can talk about. You could keep it as simple as, what did you like about this story and why did you like that? And then those are little nuggets and clues of other kinds of stories your kids would enjoy. And that interest is very important in choosing stories to read with your students. They're going to be a lot more into it if it's something they're interested in. They also will read it better. They'll have a lot more background knowledge and they'll know more of the words. So yeah, those are just some quick little tidbits on what to do when you're reading with your students before, during, and after. Some quick little just discussion things you can do and ways you can enjoy the story and get more out of the story. So I hope that helps. Have a great day.